Hey guys, so it's been probably 3 to 4 weeks since my last pregnancy vlog, and I would like to report I am no longer pregnant. Yeah. As you can see from the title, winter is here. Yay. So I will show her to y'all in a few minutes, but I wanted to go ahead and just I guess make this my labor and delivery vlog. Yeah, so my last video was it was through 35 weeks, but I was on my 36th week when I did that video, and I just got done taking my maternity pictures and all that jazz, which they turned out awesome. I will leave a link to the pictures. They're on my Facebook page, so if you want to go on there you can go see them on my Facebook page. They turned out so good. You can check them out on my Facebook page if you want to see them, okay? So 36th week. My 36-week checkup was good. Went through the next week. Had a little bit of swelling. Same thing I've been dealing with. But I wasn't really checking my blood pressure since my 36-week one was so good. So I was like, whatever. I've been dealing with swelling since my 34th week. Okay. So went in to see my midwife at 37 weeks that Friday, the 21st of December, and my blood pressure was 150 something over 90 something. No, it was 140 something over 90 something. Okay. And that was really high. Well, high for a pregnant woman. And so we waited a few minutes, waited, calmed down a little bit or whatever, did it again. It went down. The top number went down. The bottom number was still like 91 or 92 or something. And for my midwives, they would like you to be under 140 for the top number and under 90 for the bottom number. So what they had me do, they had me pee, and I was spilling protein in my pee. It was +1. So being that I was basically full term and whatnot, they called their consulting physician and talked to him, because what my midwife was thinking was, okay, you're getting a little shaky there, so we might need to deliver you. And I had been having contractions. I started having contractions on my 36th week. Nothing like crazy, like nothing painful or anything, but just regular contractions. And that day that I had went in, I had been having every hour, 15-20 minutes. They were consistent. They had been consistent that whole day. So I told my midwife that, and she was like, okay, well, maybe your body's just telling us that it's about time to get this kid out or whatever. So they talked to Dr. Preggo, which was my delivering physician, and he was like, yeah, go ahead and get her to come up to the hospital. So at that point I was distraught. Not distraught, but just like, oh my goodness. I didn't really plan for a hospital birth at all. I had a few things that gave like an idea of my birth plan. I had, the things that my Hypnobabies class gave me that let the, notes to let the nurses know that this is what I'm going to be doing while I'm birthing. So please keep it quiet. Don't interrupt me when you see me with my eyes closed and kind of in the zone and that kind of stuff. But as far as, having like a concrete, written out birth plan of everything I want done or whatever, I did not have that, just because my midwives were on board. Their method of birthing was exactly what I was looking for, and whatever. But luckily I did have kind of a guideline or whatever. So the funny thing is, that Thursday we had went to Walmart. Me and my mom had went to Walmart to go get stuff from our hospital bag because I hadn't packed one. So luckily I had like big drawers and all that stuff at home. So my midwife was like, hey, go home, get your bag, and head up to St. Joseph's. And St. Joseph's, I stay in a suburb of Houston, so it was, you know, 30-40 minutes away or whatever. So headed up to St. Joseph or whatever, got admitted. They took my vitals and all that stuff again. Blood pressure was still high or whatever. So they admitted me, and they were like, okay, we're going to induce you, so you're going to be having this baby tonight or tomorrow. So yeah, birthing plan was out the window. Well, place of birth was out the window. Naturally going into labor was out of the window or whatever. So yeah, I was kind of upset. So they started me on Pitocin 2 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning. Okay, started me on Pitocin. I wish we had video. My best friend, y'all know her, Stacy, the one with the locks that has been on the channel. She came. She packed her suitcase and came because she didn't know how long we were gonna be there or whatever. She came. My mom came. We made tea and all this stuff, but because I was on drugs, I couldn't have any thing to eat. Honestly, it's because they didn't know whether or not they were gonna have to section me, C-section. So yeah, they didn't let me eat or drink anything, which sucked. So I went to sleep. 2 o'clock in the morning, I went to sleep on and off or whatever. No contractions, nothing painful or whatever. Woke back up probably around 7-ish, like up around 6:37-ish. You know, talking to Stacy. Stacy left to go get breakfast and stuff. They were eating their croissants and stuff in front of me, which sucked because I couldn't have anything to eat. Probably around 8-9-ish. Contractions started getting, you know, a little bit painful. So I started listening to my Hypnobabies cues or whatever. So I did the self class where, not the self-taught class, but like I did the class with the group, but my packet of CDs was for a person that didn't have a birth partner. I mean, I had a birth partner. Well, Tierra wasn't able to come down, and Stacy came to the classes with me. But as far as being in it or whatever, I really rely on myself. So I did the CDs or whatnot. And so I put in my birthing CD so I could listen to track 1, which was kind of, you know, your early birthing stage where, you know, the contractions are there, but they're not really that painful and all that stuff. So I was kind of zoned out listening to my CDs at that point, okay? So, excuse me. So did that or whatever. They checked me probably around 10 something. I was about, you know, 1 or 2 centimeters or whatever, nothing outrageous or whatever. Then my water broke. My water broke naturally. They didn't have to bring my water. My water broke around 11-ish. So at that time, the contractions really picked up. Like, holy shit, picked up, okay? So I told my mom we needed to call my birth photographer, because I had a birth photographer, because I'm of the mindset that people that you have in the room with you, besides the nurses and all that stuff, your gang that you bring there, which was my mom and Stacy, and then ends up one of my best friends that I grew up with, Tracy, was in town for her cousin's graduation, so she came up there to be with me also. I'm of the mindset that, you know, they're in the moment with you, so a lot of the pictures that they take aren't going to be the pictures that you really want to have, like those first moments and that kind of stuff, because they're caught up with you. So I hired a birth photographer. She is the same lady that did my maternity photos, same lady that did Wynter's newborn photos, her 6-month and her year photos, same person. But so I was like, okay, we need to call Ashley. Her name's Ashley also. And I'll put her contact information in the bottom too. If you're in Houston and looking for a photographer for special events, weddings, graduations, all that kind of crap, she's really good, really awesome, and super nice. And her prices are very reasonable. But so I was like, okay, we need to call Ashley. Water's breaking, you know, kind of, you know, oops or whatever. And so funny, my phone, I didn't have my phone because Ashley had texted me, you know, what's going on, you know, do I need to come up, you know, or whatever. So my water broke. Doctor came in and talked to me, let me know that, you know, it's usually about 20 to 24 hours that it takes for someone to have a baby with being induced or whatnot. So, you know, he's going to go home or whatever, and he'll be back, but he has a monitor at home, so he'll be checking on me from the house or whatever. So, you know, I'm like, okay, cool. At this point, I start listening to my second CD, no, my track 2 on my birthing CD, which is when it's like hardcore, because the contractions were coming in they were pretty strong afterwards, to the point where, you know, I'm over here like whoo, hoo, 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 breathing out with the contractions or whatever. So this is 11. 12 o'clock is when it got real. Contractions were major. Like, honestly, and I mean I can handle a fair amount of pain. Like, I have tattoos on my ribs. Like, I can handle a fair amount of pain. And it's so funny, me and Stacey were talking about it after the fact. She was like, you know, you said that when you got, because I have a peacock on my ribs, and she's like, when you got that tattoo, you were like, you know, you've never been through labor, but you imagined that's what it would be like, because it was so painful. You can't imagine what labor is like until you've gone through it. And I mean, it's so funny. 12, 1 o'clock, oh my goodness, you talking about like pain, like, and I mean, I'm being real, I'm not trying to be like, oh, whoa, or whatever, but I mean, the pain is catastrophic. Like, it's catastrophic pain, like to the point where you don't know what to do with yourself, you know. Thankfully, you know, I went to Hypnobabies or whatever, so, you know, I'm trying to breathe through it or whatever, and I had stopped, like, I stopped watching, you know, those baby stories and all those type of shows or whatever, because I didn't want those shows to taint my idea of what labor should be or whatever. But I had watched them you know, I had been watching them before I found out I was pregnant, so, you know, I have this stuff in the back of my mind or whatever. And I mean, it's catastrophic type pain. I mean, I felt like my body was breaking into, like, it's like a period cramp on steroids, like massive steroids, like all the steroids that bodybuilders could ever take in their lifetime combined. Like, it's horrible, catastrophic pain, like an F5 tornado going on in your body, like serious. So about, I don't even know the time frame, but okay, so pain. I was getting to the point where my contractions weren't really giving me a break. And of course I had that moment where, you know, I looked at my mom and I was like, I can't do this, you know, because I'm thinking, okay, it's been about 8-10 hours that I've been, you know, since I've been induced. The doctor says it takes 20 to 24 hours for, you know, you to have a baby when you're induced. So I have another 10 hours of this, 8 to 10 hours of this. I cannot do another 8 to 10 hours of this. I will die if I do another 8 to 10 hours of this. That's my mind frame, okay? So I'm just like, I can't do this. I told my mom, you know, I can't do this or whatever. She's like, no, remember what you said, how you wanted to have your birth or whatever. And I was like, I don't really care what I said. I can't do this. This hurts. Like, I can't do this or whatever. And so, you know, the nurse that I had, the first nurse that I had when I got checked in, like, that at night, she was so awesome. She read my stuff. She started, instead of calling it contractions, she was calling it pressure waves, which is Hypnobaby stock and all this stuff or whatever. And I mean, she read all my stuff. My morning nurse was really good, but the afternoon nurse I had, she had been a nurse for like 5 months, and she was really kind of, I didn't like her at all. So she was like, you know, do you want medication? You know, we can give you medication or whatever. And I'm like, what kind of medication? What's my options or whatever? Because I didn't want to have an epidural. Like, I didn't want to have an epidural. So she tells me about the morphine drip. I look at my mom. I'm like, okay, well, can I get the morphine drip? Because I can't do this. I can't do this. Or whatever. She's like, okay, we have to check you to make sure that you're not more than 6 centimeters, because if you're 6 centimeters, then we can't give it to you. We'd have to give you the epidural or whatever. So she comes in, she checks me or whatever. She's like, okay, you're 5, maybe 6. I'm not really sure. I need to get somebody else to check you or whatever. So she got somebody else to check me. She checks me. I'm 6.5-ish. So you know, she's like, okay, we can't give you the drip. Do you want the epidural? I'm like, no, 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 I don't want the epidural, you know, whatever. But it's so painful. And like Stacey tells me, like, by this time, you know, the contractions, on the chart is like a wave, okay? I wasn't hitting the bottom anymore. It was kind of going up and then coming to the middle and then going up again instead of going down or whatever. So, I mean, and then, you know, I asked the nurse, you know, can I move? Can I sit up? Can I sit on the birthing ball? No, I don't want to, I have another patient, so I can't stay in here and monitor you. This is a reason why I didn't want to birth at a hospital. Okay. Anyways. So I couldn't move. I couldn't sit up. It got to the point where I had to sit up because I started throwing up. And so I had to sit up, started throwing up, and I guess this is where I was in transformation or whatever they call it. So they checked me. This is probably, you know, 1:30, 1:40-ish. They checked me. They had, mind you, they had checked me for the medication at like 1 o'clock, 1:15. So they checked me 1:30, 1:45-ish or whatever. I'm 9.5 centimeters. Boom. Thank God. So, they checked me or whatever, and they're like, okay, we need you to lay down or whatever, because at that point I had been sitting up because I was throwing up, and it just felt so good to sit up. Like, I can't tell you how hard it is to labor on your back. Like, I can't tell you how hard that is. Like, if you can move, because that labor, as soon as I sat up, I mean, it was like a weight had been lifted off me. I mean, I still was in pain, but I felt so much better. Okay. So, you know, okay, so footage got deleted, so I'm here on another day, doing the end of this video. So, I believe where I was throwing up and all this kind of stuff, sitting up or whatever. They had me lie back down to check me, and I was 9.5 centimeters. Yes, Lord. So, yeah. So they lied me back down, and at that point, I got the urge to push horribly. And they're like, oh, don't push, don't push, don't push. And I'm like, I can't not push. They're like, don't push. Stacey's like, don't push, Ashley, just breathe. I'm like, I am breathing, but I need to push. And it's so funny, like, I'm breathing out. You know, you breathe, and I'm breathing out, and I'm like, breathing out, because it's like, I just want to push. And in all honesty, I was pushing. Yeah. Which was bad, because you can, like, rip your cervix or whatever. But thank God that didn't happen, so, yes. So yeah, so 9.5 centimeters, they're checking me, they're prepping me, all that kind of stuff, getting all the blue paper that they put on you, putting my legs in stirrups, getting my like arm bars to hold on to push or whatever. So I do a test push, I do 2 test pushes, and then I do 2 real pushes, and she's here. My first push, I believe she crowned, because I felt a little bit of that burning, the ring of fire that people refer to. It wasn't anything like, oh my Jesus, horrible, painful, like contractions were a lot worse than that. But I did feel like a little, ooh, that's interesting. Okay. And so felt that, and then felt that, and then the second push, she just came out, like, that's exactly how it was. So yeah, she was born at 1:53 on December 22nd. So she was here in time for Christmas. Yes, had a little Christmas baby. Yeah, and she weighed 6 pounds 4 ounces, 6 pounds 0.46 ounces. There we go. And she was 19.5 inches long. Since then, she's put on 1 pound and 5 ounces via the breast milk that I'm giving her. Oh, let me introduce y'all to her. Let me get this. What is this on your face, girl? Okay, so here's Wynter. Well, she got her hands all up in her face and stuff now. But, okay. Here's Wynter. So, this is Wynter. And, like I said, she's now 7 points. What are you? 7.5 ounces, I think. Tired. So yeah, she's up every 2 to 3 hours. She eats every 2 to 3 hours. We didn't have any issues breastfeeding, thank God. She latched on her second try. Like, we tried one time, she wasn't getting it. She was pushing my nipple out with her tongue, and so she went back to sleep. Woke her up to feed again in a couple hours, and she latched on well. I had sore nipples for the beginning, but you know, after that it was fine. It was probably 2 to 3 days. Well, maybe like a day, 1 to 2 days. And then my milk came in on the night of day 3, the 3rd day after I had her. So yeah, I didn't have an issue with my boobs being, well, okay, this boob, my right boob, was engorged, and I had to go in the shower and kind of, I guess, squirt it out or whatever. But after that, I haven't had any issues with, you know, painful, boobs being so full that it's painful, because she eats every 1 to 3 hours depending on what she's doing. If she's up, like she's alert or whatever, she's eating every hour. If she's asleep, every 2 to 3 hours. What else? Yeah, so every 2 to 3 hours at night I'm up, or whatever. Yeah, and just it's been an adjustment, but it's been okay. It hasn't been like crazy. I'm not like crying in a cupboard somewhere or anything, nothing like that. So yeah, it's been nice. It's been good. She is full of personality already. She gives me the funniest faces. Those of you that are my friends on Facebook, you've seen, like today I posted a picture of her side-eye that she was giving me while I was trying to take a picture of her. So she's funny. She's extremely funny. But yeah, she's really good. She's a good baby. I like her. I like her. So yeah. What else? What else, Wynter? You sleep, so you're not gonna tell me nothing, huh? What? You're not gonna tell me nothing. But yeah, so thank you all for all your prayers and well wishes and all of that stuff. Thank you so much, because I mean, I know for a fact that it has helped, especially the prayers. It has helped, because y'all know me coming into this situation was not the business at all. And you know, it's just crazy for me, someone who never thought they would be a mom ever, never wanted to be a mom or whatever, to actually have a kid. It's crazy. It's awesome. It's ridiculously awesome. It's just, whoa, this little person is like, she looks to me for everything. Like, I'm her everything right now. Like, whoa, that's so weird and crazy and awesome, and just wow. And she's an amazing little girl. She really is just amazing. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. So yeah, just look out on the channel. I have everything together now for makeup tutorials. I put, because y'all know moving and all that crap. So I have my table and all my makeup setup, my makeup area set up or whatever, makeup unpacked, all that stuff. So I'll try to get in a few makeup tutorials in there every now and then, and hair reviews, hair product reviews, and just like hair updates, that kind of stuff. Just because I have a new head of hair on my head right now. Pregnancy didn't give me longer hair. My hair didn't grow any faster, nothing like that. My hair is at the same length it was when I was 7 months natural 2 years ago. Okay. All pregnancy did was make my hair thicker and made my strands kinkier. So I have a new head of hair on my head right now. My hair is a lot kinkier. I'm probably more, if you want to go with the 4A, 4B, that kind of texture, I'm probably more of a 4B, 4C now, whereas I was more of a 4A, 4B before I got pregnant and before my second big child. So it's a learning curve. It's interesting or whatever, but you know, I'm gonna start doing more with my hair now or whatever, like in the next few months. But yeah, what else? So look out for product reviews, and my product reviews will be more for companies that don't get a lot of shine on YouTube, just because, you know, I don't need to do another Shea Moisture review when there's 5,000 Shea Moisture reviews out there. So yeah, look out for those. And yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, I'm a mommy. That's so crazy. So yeah, guys, I will talk to y'all later. Bye.